Welcome back. You're listening to Get Real. I'm your host, Bob Gallagher. Joining me in the studio today, I have special guest Curtis Knight of Curtis Knight Real Estate and Curtis Knight Entertainment. How you doing, Curtis?
Excited as all heck to be here.
Welcome to the show. I'm glad you could make it today.
Same here. Thanks, Bob.
So I invited you on the show today so we could talk a little bit about real estate. But before we get to that, I'd like to get into your background in Curtis Knight Entertainment and what path you took that eventually led you to real estate.
Sure. I was born. Sorry.
Long path.
Yeah. So I had a band years ago, and we got fairly popular in New England and up in Eastern Canada, and we had a big, big run, and I thought it would last forever. Then the band thing started to go the way of the buffalo, and I missed my window. Didn't miss it by much, but I missed my window to be a big, internationally beloved singer-songwriter. So I needed to figure out what was next. So I moved into doing karaoke, and I didn't want to. I said, I will never do karaoke. And then I had to feed my family, so I started being a karaoke guy. And we moved our company and positioned ourselves so we were doing 45 nightclubs in the Boston area. And and it got to be really lucrative. But then karaoke started to go the other way as well. Everything seems to go in cycles.
Yes.
So you have a really good real estate market, and then it's not so good, then it's really good. Sometimes it's a buyer's market, sometimes it's a seller's market. So karaoke began to go down, down, down. And where we used to make $300 a night in the clubs, it went to $200 a night and then down to $100 a night. And at $100 a night, I couldn't stay in the game.
Right.
So I said, all right, time to move out of that. So then we started doing weddings. So we had, right now we have 109 people that work for Curtis Knight Entertainment, and we are an event services company.
Excellent.
So if you're putting on an event, our flagship is weddings. So if you're having a wedding coming up, we have your DJ MC, going to make all the announcements, play all the music, introduce the bridal party, what have you. We also have your photographer, your videographer, your photo booth. Photo booth is huge at weddings right now.
Oh, yeah.
Your uplighting, and uplighting is a special type of lighting where you place, it's like a car headlight attached to a battery, and we put one every 10 to 15 feet all the way around the room on the floor, aiming up at the ceiling. And then we have a computerized connection, wireless, to each one of them. We can change all the colors. We have 16 million colors, and we can change the colors to match exactly the bride and groom's colors for the event. And they, all those individual beams hit the ceiling, and it's called uplighting because the lights shine up at the ceiling. So you see it all the time. Every wedding you look at, when you see photos, you see uplighting all the time. So we have an uplighting division. We have your gobo monogram. A gobo is from the 1930s when they used to do movies like The Wizard of Oz, and they'd want to project something on the wall. Later on in the 50s and 60s, it was the Batman logo. That's a gobo, and they didn't know what to call it, so they would put a little disc in the projector, and they'd call it a goes-between or a goes-before. It goes between the bulb and the lens, and it's a little round disc with a hole cut in it that is the shape of what you want to show. So it's called a gobo. They shortened it, and rather than say we're going to have a conversation, we're going to have a convo. And when it comes to a goes-between or a goes-before, they began to call it a gobo. And they'd say, insert the gobo and project it on the wall. So these days, we provide your gobo, and we provide the names of the bride and groom. It says John and Mary. Well, we just did Gina and Moose, 12/31/16. We just did their wedding, New Year's Eve, and they got the gobo. And it said Gina and Moose.
Moose.
Mr. and Mrs. Giannetti. Yeah.
And he goes by Moose.
He does.
Did it say Moose on the invitation? Just
It
curious.
did.
It did.
Yeah, everything is Moose. He does not want to be called Robert. So, and he's the nicest guy in the world. I hope he gets to hear this. So it said Gina and Moose. And on the invitations, it said Gina and Moose. And on the favors, they had the cupcakes that come in a little jar. It's like a little mason jar, and they seal it. Wicked Good Cupcakes or Wicked Cupcakes. But anyway, it said Gina and Moose, 12/31/16.
Nice.
So
you guys do everything.
We never want to say everything. I'm always afraid of being hit by a lightning bolt.
Lots of things.
Because of we do a bunch of services.
Yeah.
And I never want to have any swagger. I want to try and convince the people that I'm allowed to serve that I'm going to do a really, really good job, but I never want to be cocky, and I never want to overspeak or overpromise. So a lot of things that I leave out of my presentation, and then we surprise our clients later.
Excellent.
Like one of the things we do, and of course we haven't even gotten to real estate yet, but we're still on the event services, how it got to be real estate. And I'm only talking about myself because you asked.
That's okay.
Appreciate it. So When we're finished somebody's wedding, we send them their photos. And if I'm your DJ, I have a really nice camera around my neck, and it's the Canon 1DX Mark II. It's a very nice camera. $6,000 just for the body.
Oh, wow.
No lens, no flash, no nothing. It's a very nice. It's looked at as the world's foremost run and gun camera. When you're not set up in your studio with it on a tripod, you're run and gun. It's around your neck. So you're running and you're gunning. You're taking photos with your camera.
Right.
I'm using hand signals. You can't do that when you're when
You can use them, just people can't see them.
when you're being recorded for radio. So after we're done with the wedding, any wedding that I'm a part of, I'm taking photos the whole time. Typically between 500 and 1,500 photos I take. So I bring them home, I retouch them all, and I send them all to the bride and groom. And a lot of times they figure it out because I have my camera around my neck, and I've told them, if you allow me to serve you, you get me with my camera the whole time. Even though you have a hired photographer, you've also got me. And they're not the worst photos you'll ever see. I don't want to say they're amazing or incredible, but they're nice photos, and they're photos that nobody else took but me. They're from my vantage point, so they're unique. So I'll send them to you after the wedding. So I send them all those photos on a DVD, and it's a special type of DVD, which is a water shield, and it's smooth like a mirror. And I print one of the images, one of the nice images from their wedding on there, and I put their names and the date, and I send that to them. But I send it in a big square tube that's 5 inches by 5 inches by 30 inches long. It's a big square mailing tube. And inside that tube, I put enlarged prints that are 17 inches by 30 inches. If you can imagine such a
big one.
I'm going to show you with my arms. It's this big. I'm showing the 30 inches by this big, and here's 17 inches-ish. So I send 30 by 17 prints, and usually about 5 or 6 of them from the wedding. And it's a nice posed photo of them during their first dance. And I tap them on the shoulder while they're dancing. And I say, can you guys both look at me and smile big? Ah! And I make my big smile face. So they smile, and I get a picture of them. So I take maybe that picture, and I put that on a 30 by 17. And I roll them up and put them in a box. And that's unexpected. They don't know they're getting that.
Yeah.
So that arrives after the wedding.
Excellent.
So anyway, so that's all the wedding services. So what led to real estate was... we do weddings and weddings and weddings and weddings. At my office in Billerica, Massachusetts, people come in almost every day of the week, and sometimes every day of the week, to meet with us to see if they would like to allow us to serve them. And we've learned that we need to be trustworthy and we need to be responsive. I want you to trust me. I'm going to try very hard to serve you well. On the lives of my children and on the lives of my parents, I will do my best. I'm going to try to do my best to serve you. So they come to see if they trust us, and we try to be very responsive. We try to pick up the phone every time it rings, reply to every text message, every email as fast as is humanly possible. Go, 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 go. That's the speed. So when they come to meet with us, I don't tell them about the photos. Just lost my train.
We were going to how this led to real estate.
So how it led to real estate. Good thing you put me back on track,
Yeah.
Bob. Good thing you're here. So if I was doing this interview by myself,
It'd be tough.
yeah, that'd be the end of it right there. So so often while we're meeting with them, they mention casually, they say, yeah, well, the wedding, it's really stressful and we're planning it and it's costing us a fortune. The average wedding in the New England region is between $25,000 and $28,000 for the past 10 years, the average one. People are trying to get out, we're only going to spend $5,000.
Yeah, good
And
luck.
I always laugh, ha, 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 ha. So I always ask them, where's your wedding being held? And as soon as they tell me the venue, I can just about, because I've been doing, that's all I do.
Yeah.
I can just about tell what they're going to spend, and I tell them, they go, oh, no, we're not spending that. But then they wind up spending it. But if you're in Boston, it's $35,000 to $38,000 if you're having a downtown Boston wedding.
Wow.
Harbor Hotel, one of those. Yeah. So often when we sit across from each other, let me digress again. Most weddings ever in one day, we did 18 weddings simultaneously in 2007. We haven't hit that again. And we did 560 weddings that year, 2007.
Wow. A lot of people got married.
About 40,000 a year in Massachusetts.
Wow.
I try to know my stats. I always want to know.
Yeah.
So it's either 37,000 marriage licenses issued in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, or 41,300, or 39,800.
Yeah.
But it hovers right around 40,000 marriage licenses issued in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts each year.
Excellent.
So I want to come back and do another show just on weddings.
Absolutely.
All right. Looking forward to it. Yeah. So often in the course of the the meeting while we're going back and forth, and I say, if you allow me to serve you, here's what I'll do. Here's how I'll make the announcements. I show up 2 hours early. I bring all my equipment. I bring a backup this and a backup that, and I'm trying to convince them I could be one of the good choices for you, and I hope you pick me. If you don't pick me, I love you like family, and there's no worry, no pressure, no stress. So if I say, do you want to use me? And you say, no, we've decided to go with these other guys. I'm not going to ask you, was there something that I said or did that made you pick another company? I'm going to say, I'm sure it's a great choice, because if you met with me, I know you've done your homework, and if you pick somebody else, I know they're going to be good, and I feel like, let me knock on wood, I know that they're going to do a good job for you, so you're in good hands. And don't worry, I hope you have the best wedding ever. But while we're having our back and forth discussion across the table, they would always mention, right after this, we're going for the house. We got to get the wedding out of the way. As soon as we recover from that financially, we're going to find a house, and we're going to start our dream house and start our life together. And I'd say, well, why don't you go down the street? There's a real estate agent right down there. And I just kept referring and referring and referring and referring. And finally, one day I turned to Anna, who runs the company with me. I said, why don't you and I get our real estate licenses? And we don't have time for anything. We just run that crazy jitterbug, lack of sleep, lack of nutrition, running, go, all day, no time for anything. As a matter of fact, we were together as partners for more than 10 years, and she kept mentioning a vacation, and I'm like, oh, no, we don't have time. We can't take a vacation because, how will our clients, recover if I'm not there to take their calls? So she gave me a birthday present, and it was all expenses paid trip for me and her to Bermuda. And the panic would be about the same if somebody said, you're going to prison.
Wow.
Yeah, and you're not coming out. We're going to lock you up. So I said, oh, no. You have to send this back. She goes, nope, the airline tickets are non-refundable, and so is the all-inclusive package that I got. So we're going. And I was just absolutely terrified.
Did you go?
Yep.
Did you have a good time?
It was the best time ever.
See, everybody needs a vacation.
And life went on. So
Yeah.
I learned. But I said, no, we can't.
Yeah.
And we did. And it was
for you.
awesome. Yeah, so I learned.
you.
But we haven't, we went on another one too. We've been on
that's good.
a couple of big vacations. So anyway, they kept saying, can you recommend a real estate agent? So now I put the two brands together, Curtis Knight Entertainment, CKE, my initials, CK, Curtis Knight, CKE, Curtis Knight Entertainment, and CKRE, Curtis Knight Real Estate.
Right.
So I have the two logos, the CKE logo and the CKRE logo, and they're both emblazoned on the glass on the meeting table in my office. And I point to both. I say, here's CKE, and I hope to do a great job for your event. And then if you or anybody you know is looking for anything real estate, I'd be honored to be your humble servant.
That's awesome. That sounds like a hell of a story. And before we get further off track or off track again, why don't we talk about real estate in your area? You do what, Billerica, Chelmsford area?
Yeah.
What's the market like out there right now?
It's a seller's market, meaning people always ask me, like buyers will ask me, and rather than say it's a seller's market and here are the statistics, I say roughly, and don't quote me, for every house that's for sale, there are 30 buyers trying to buy it. And frequently, it just happened to me yesterday, I set up a meeting for this coming Saturday for a home in Tewksbury for 10 a.m. this coming Saturday. I can almost remember the address. Not quite. And I set up the meeting. I went on to what's called Showing Time. It's an application where you log on and you have the property address and you say, I'd like to have a showing. I'm a real estate agent. You get logged in.
Right.
And then you say, I would like, and they show you a grid of all the times and dates available, and you pick the time and date that you want. And I said, I'll take 10 o'clock a.m. this coming Saturday, the 14th. So it said, your meeting is confirmed. And it's what's called a go and show, which means it confirmed immediately, which tells me that the home is empty. It's unoccupied.
Right.
So sometimes you have to wait for a confirmation. We
Right.
don't know if we're going to confirm your showing. Well, this one confirmed immediately, and I got my big check mark on my screen, and it said, your showing is confirmed. And an hour later, I got another message by email and by text message, and it said, your showing at... Can't remember the address. It's driving me crazy.
That's all right.
No, I can't let it go. I need to look it up. It said, your showing has been canceled. Reason, property has gone under agreement. And that's what happens
Wow.
maybe 30% of the time with appointments that we set up right now. It's the wild, wild west. Everything is going so fast.
Right.
And last week in Billerica, and I live in Billerica, so I spend the most time doing my homework about Billerica stats because I want to be the beacon of information in Billerica. I don't want to set myself up as the guy who knows everything and the guy that you can trust. Of course, I can't know everything, but I want to know as much as I can. 68% of all homes sold in the past 90 days in Billerica, Massachusetts, sold at or above asking price.
Wow.
And a client will say to me, they'll say, I'm a buyer. I want you to be my agent. I want you to find my house. Here, I'm going to sign the agreement that says that you're my guy. And I say, okay. And they say, okay, I want this house, and the asking price is $349,000. What do you think? Do you think we should go like $319,000? And I say, with the market the way it is right now, and they don't know. We know because we hear it every day.
Right.
But I'm talking to somebody brand new, and they don't know. And I say right now, in the market the way it is right now, there are probably another 20 or 30 people that are actively looking at that property. And this is probably going to, as I look at my crystal ball, and I'm going to guess here, don't quote me, but I'm going to guess that the agent will have anywhere between 5 and 20 offers in hand within the next 48 to 72 hours.
Wow. And
of those offers, most of them will be above the $349,000 asking price. So they're going to get $349,000. They're going to get $369,000. There'll be 3 or 4 or 5 of those. So I don't want you to waste your time and get your hopes up and exert your energy and be all excited putting in a $319,000 or a $329,000 or a $339,000 because they're asking $349,000 for this house. And I'm going to say, as your friend, and even though I've only known you for one day, as your friend, make him believe that you and I have been friends for our entire lives and you're my best friend. This is what I would say to my best friend. I would put my arm around your neck and I would squeeze you in real tight in a headlock. And I would say, don't put in an offer under the ask price because it's not even going to be considered in this market right now. It's a seller's market. And right now, there are 2.2 months worth of inventory, and we need to be at 5 months of inventory. And inventory means how many houses are for sale. Right now, there are 67 houses for sale in Billerica, Massachusetts.
Right.
That is 2.2% of what we need. We need to have
double.
We need to have we need to have double that and a little bit more. We need
close to triple.
Yep.
Close to triple would put things more or less in balance.
So the 67 houses, if there was 150, 160, 180 houses for sale, that's enough houses that the buyers will calm down and they'll stop offering. In the $349,000 range, they're going $20,000 to $25,000 over the ask price.
Believe it or not, we're actually getting close to running out of time.
No.
I want to make sure we give out your contact info.
No.
Why don't you tell the audience, anybody listening that's looking to buy or sell, or maybe looking for some help with a wedding, why don't you give them your contact info, your phone number and your email address?
All right, I want to go on record as saying that I wanted this to go longer.
Yes.
I want to.
Yes, if only we had hours.
So if somebody ever did want to get in touch, and it's no obligation, and I'll give you all the information I have and all that I know, and I never expect anything in return. I just want to be the information man.
Excellent.
If you memorize my name, Curtis Knight, Curtis with a C, C-U-R-T-I-S, K-N-I-G-H-T, it's either curtisknight.com or curtisknightrealestate.com.
Nice and easy.
Those are the two websites, yeah.
Nice.
And all my email is there, and my text, my cell phone is there. You can text and call and email 24/7. If I'm asleep, I don't hear my phones.
Excellent. Thanks for being on the show today with us, Curtis.
I love you.
Thanks for being on. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with more Get Real after this.